Well, hello, Minecrafters. Today I'm going to show you a simple password-protected door. Now, the goal of this project was to create an easy-to-use password-protected door that could be readily built in survival. I'm just going to show it right now. You toss in the password item, the door opens, you get your item back, and the door closes behind. Now that you're safely inside your base with all your valuable goods like cobblestone and dirt. And to get out, you can just run at the door and it'll close behind you. And now this is, you can't cheat open the door using a redstone torch. You can't just throw in any old objects. You do need specific ones with a specific name. You can't throw in the correct item with the wrong name either. You need the right item with the right name. And now there's an optional override control here, so you can toggle the door on and off, and you can just run right back out. Alright, now I'm going to show you what the build looks like a little bit over here. Here's a transparent view, and as you can see, the redstone is fairly compact and fairly inexpensive to create. And even better, it all fits in one layer beneath the floor here as well too. And I will show you that this does work exactly the same here. Now, a couple things. You can shrink this build quite a bit. For example, if you don't need this optional lever here, and this whole row can be shrunk. And this can actually be shrunk in one row here as well, but right now there's what I consider to be a bug with droppers. And until that bug gets resolved, we do need an extra row of space here. More on that later. Additionally, if you're not worried about the placing of a redstone torch to open the door, it might depend on the server rules of what's allowed. This design can be shrunk even further to a mere 5 by 4. And again, I'll show that at the end. Alright, now I'm going to show you a little bit about how to build it and how it works. So I've already placed a nice 5 by 5 floor here, as well as the start of the door archway, the inside and the outside here. So first we're going to go ahead and place the door and the mechanism that is the password. So to place the door, you want to place it from the side like this, so that the default position is open. And now we're just going to place a couple blocks here. We'll knock those out. We've got the dropper facing up there, and then we're going to need 2 hoppers like that. Notice that they are feeding into each other all the way to the dropper. Alright. Now that that's done, we're going to get a comparator out of the middle one and feed that directly into a block like this. Redstone underneath. We're going to need a repeater here, and that is going to feed around into another block. And I'm going to place that from this side here. So what this is, and then we're going to place a torch there. Alright, now, to make the password element to this middle hopper needs to have specific items with specific names. And so I'll go ahead and show you how to make those. With an anvil, we're going to need, depending on the item you're going to use, you're going to need different number of them. For something like a sign or armor stand, the stack size is 16. In this case, we're only going to need 6. And we can get them a name of whatever we want. We'll just go ahead and this is the password. I'm just going to label it key 1 for now. Alright. And we're going to need to fill up the middle hopper with 5 of that item. We leave 1 for us, that's to use as our key. And it's important to put 1 in each. So here's what happens. Normally, this hopper would empty out, but right now, this torch is keeping it locked. The torch is powering the dropper, which in turn is powering the hopper, and that will lock the hopper so items will not flow. Now the comparator reads that there's items in here, and it's lighting up this redstone here. A sixth item will be enough for the redstone to go to here, which will be picked up by the repeater and powered straight into this block. And so I'll show you a little bit how that works. So we'll go ahead and drop in the key, and you can see what happens. Alright, so this powered briefly, and the key spit out. So what happened is the sixth item lit this up, turned off the torch, which unlocked the hopper, and that sixth item was able to flow through. But as soon as it did, there was only 5 items, which is not enough to power this anymore, so this turned off, and then turned the torch back on, locking the hopper, and simultaneously activating the dropper, which spit the item back out. So that is the basis of the password mechanism. So when items are thrown into here, they can't flow into this hopper because it's already filled up unless the item matches and it can stack. Other items will just stay in here. Alright, now we have to link this up to a simple toggle to open and close the door. And all this is just 2 droppers facing each other. And we're going to put an item in here. It doesn't matter what the item is, it just needs one of something. And then we'll go ahead and use 2 comparators and a repeater. And the repeater is going to go right into this block, and a little bit of redstone. And now the door will be shut when it's powered. This whole line is powering to keep the door closed. And so in order to open the door, we need to activate this dropper, which will spit that item into the one next to it. So all we need to do that is a repeater and a bit of redstone there. So this repeater, when this line powers, will go all the way through to power this, pushing the item into this side, thus turning off the power here and letting the door come open. Alright, see that work in action. We throw the key in, the door opens, the key spits out. And the block is now in the right hand dropper here. So in order to get this back into the other side to close the door, we just need to activate the back dropper. So you can do that with the pressure plates from above, just like this. So when you drop on this plate, it activates and the door closes. Alright, so now in order to exit the door, we're going to use a simple way to override this comparator. So just a bit of redstone, and to demonstrate it, I'm going to use a lever just momentarily here. So how this works, when a comparator gets an input from the side that is greater than the input coming from this direction, it turns off the signal. For example, it's just a simple override switch that turns it on and off the comparator. And the reason that this is higher powered is the signal from this, from just the one block, is very weak. It's only enough to power one block of redstone. The comparator just pushes it through. And with this is a full strength signal, so this is always going to be more than the signal here. Instead of a lever though, we're going to use a pressure plate, so that when we walk over it, the door opens temporarily, just giving us enough time to get out. Then the optional switch can go right here. It just makes it a little bit wider, and you just need a little bit of redstone. Same principle, it's just utilizing the other side, and either one can then work as a temporary override to make the door open. Alright, well that is pretty much the build right there. The rest of it is just filling in the floor and hiding all the redstone bits. But that's the basis of the build. Alright, now more about the bug with the droppers, at least what I believe to be a bug. So here I just have a little setup with some levers, the dropper, and some lights to show you the state of the lever. So I've got some items in the dropper, and when you turn on the lever, nothing happens. You turn on this lever, nothing happens. Even if you turn on both levers, nothing happens. And that's expected. That's how it should work. Uh, However, if you put a bit of redstone right here, that shouldn't change anything because the redstone isn't connected in any way to this dropper. But you turn on one lever, nothing happens. You turn on the other lever, again, nothing happens. And here's the bug. If you turn on both, the dropper activates. This is very curious since there's nothing connecting it. And so until that gets fixed, you do need a little extra space in the door. Now I mentioned earlier that depending on the server rules and what's allowed to place in other people's territories, this can be shrunk even further as long as you don't mind a redstone torch being able to open the door. And this is an even more compact version, again, just 5 blocks across and 4 blocks deep this way. I'll just circle around just in case this build is relevant. In this case, the door is placed in its default position as closed. You've got an override right there, and you've got this pressure plate to open the door as you run through right there. But again, it does work the same way otherwise, with the reset being just a little bit closer here as well. Alright, thanks for watching.